Show me the money! Show me the money!
Show me the money. Welcome to episode 4 of Show Me the Money podcast. You guys are in better spirits than I am. I had a rough weekend last week, and I think that our picks were not great. Maybe you guys have a different opinion, but we've had better weeks.
Rough week for the pod. It was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like a fat kid that got kicked on the playground.
I mean, beg to differ. Out of my 10 leg that I placed, only one loss. So I lost, but
Sounds like you lost.
I picked a good slate.
You lost morally this week.
Yes.
So some of our wins that we did hit were Tampa Bay minus 2.5. That was my lock of the week. UNC minus 7.5 and minus 6.5 because Tyler's too big of a pussy to take the 7.5.
I took 7.5.
Parker got Fresno State minus 3 for his lock of the week. That game
Let's
ended
go.
a lot to 0. And then Washington minus 17 against Michigan State, which I think was obvious with that coaching situation going on.
Yikes.
Some of the misses that we had, Kansas State minus 3.5. Josh missed on that one.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, what are you gonna do, Ren? We talked about it, before we hit record, and if that game's played 10 more times, I'm probably on the right side of it, all 10 of them. So
That's the wrong side of it when it mattered. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, shout out though to Mizzou's kicker, fucking
Mevis.
bomb.
Dude,
Mevis.
through the heart, man. All we needed was him to miss that, and it covers. What are you supposed to do? Life.
And then Notre Dame, Clark took minus 34.5. It's hard to have any comment other than that was
ugly.
Dumb.
T's and P's out to Clark right now. He's got a bellyache. Nothing's wrong with him, but T's and P's, Clark. Thinking of you.
Yeah.
The Colorado game was a rough one.
That was embarrassing for Colorado, man. That's sad.
Obviously, they did not cover. They were supposed to cover 24.5, and they won on a double overtime touchdown.
Yeah.
So they did not have the expectation or did not meet the expectation that they were supposed to. The last one that we really lost on was the Tennessee game. Most of us bet Tennessee. I was actually one that I think right before the game started, I bet on Florida, just because the line I think was a little bit better at the time. So Tennessee minus 6.5. These guys lost that. I think I ended up winning that one.
You're the only one.
I think I was the only one that bet on Florida.
But how many units were you down last week?
A lot.
I was down 9, so I get it.
So I had fought back, and I was actually up $10 at the start of up $10 at the start of the Colorado State game. However, right before the Colorado game, I bet 5 units on Colorado to cover, and
no bueno.
That was rough. Anyway, we're going to have a much better week this week. This week of football is significantly more exciting. I don't think anybody is disagreeing with that.
No, it's an amazing slate this week.
Conference play is a blessing to the soul. It's like chicken soup. It's like going home and sleeping in your own bed after a long road trip. Everybody is excited for college football to be back week 1, but conference play, oh man, it's a different story. So I'm super excited for this week.
Yeah, this is where things happen. So we're going to kick it off right to our boys in Iowa City, Iowa. Iowa, number 20. Well, I guess they're not in Iowa City is the issue for us. They are out at Penn State. Number 24, Iowa at number 7, Penn State.
At the whiteout game, too. Crazy atmosphere there.
They always white out against us, and that's purely just to I feel like at this point, just purely to get people into the stadium and try and be as loud. However, they only get like half as loud as Kinnick. Let's be honest. It's just not the same environment.
It's a crazy environment out there, whiteout or not. Especially the last 2 times facing them, us beating them. I think this one's actually been marked on Penn State's calendar. I think they've been ready for this one and they've been looking for this one. I think it's going to be a crazy game, crazy atmosphere. I mean, I think Kinnick gets louder, but it's going to be rocking. It's going to be a tough barn out there in Happy Valley this weekend.
Iowa's definitely got to show up ready to play. Otherwise, it could go south real fast.
I think it's going to go real south real fast, personally. I don't think the Hawks are going to cover this 14.5.
Yeah, I think 14.5 is a big ask for this University of Iowa team. I do think that they can hold Penn State down to, 20-something points, especially with that defense. However, I don't think Iowa's offense is anywhere near ready. They showed last week that they are capable of scoring 40 or more points. Indeed, Brian Ferentz did get his extra points he's been missing for the past couple of weeks. So he's ahead of the game right now. However, I think he will yet again fall behind after this weekend.
I think we talk about this Iowa defense a lot, but I think this is our first real challenge for Iowa defense. We haven't really seen what they can do. I think we've been looking okay. I haven't seen that star-studding, like really big stops and like needing it. I still see these smaller teams driving on us. I think this is going to be a good test for our Iowa defense to see if we're really going to be stacked up for the rest of this season.
Hot take. This Iowa defense isn't the Iowa defense we're used to. It's still fine, but it's not.
I would agree with you, Josh.
It's not top
I'm
20
right
in the nation like we're used to having in Iowa City.
I mean, you got to think the boys are replacing a lot of people D-line and on the D-line, our D-ends are different. We had a lot of guys head out to the draft. We got some new guys back in the secondary. And overall, I just think this Iowa team's not healthy. I mean, we saw after the first play of the game with McNamara running, he pulled up a little gimp and just wasn't the same. He's had too many turnovers. This 14.5 number is large. If Iowa's going to cover, it's going to have to be with pounding the rock. And like we always say, punting is winning. They're going to have to win the field position battle, and they're going to have to sneak something out, maybe run it, and try to get them to bite on a play action and throw one over the top. But if Iowa goes down early, I don't think this is a team that is made to come back, and I think it could get pretty ugly. I just think Brian is going to eat the 25 points bullshit and do whatever it takes to win this game. And if that is having to just pound the rock, control time of possession, and eat it, I think that's what they're going to have to do. If they want to win this game, it's going to have to be a messy one. They're going to have to just muddy it up and not let Penn State control the tempo and go off on them. So it's going to be interesting. Hopefully Iowa can stay healthy. Like we said, we lost our starting tight end with an ankle surgery. He's probably out for the entirety of the season. And that was McNamara's like safety valve. So it's going to be a tough one, I think. So, but hopefully they can get it done.
I just don't see it. I mean, we can talk as optimistic, as Hawks fans. I hope. Let's be honest, they're not winning this game. If they win this game, it would be, it'd be a putting the Big Ten on notice kind of game. Like, hey, we're out here, we're real. But they haven't shown it to me on either side of the ball. The only phase of the game that they've shown to me that they're worthy of a top 25 is special teams. Realistically, like, I don't see it. What do you guys think of the total here? 40.5 with a 14.5 point spread.
Sounds big, but
yeah,
who knows?
I think Penn State could hit it, possibly hit it themselves. I think that they'll need one or two from Iowa, but the issue is Iowa scoring one or two. Is that going to happen?
All right, come on, boys.
I put Penn State's number at 31 this game, which means Iowa needs to put up,
Jesus Christ, guys. It's not like this Hawkeye team is just completely unbearable. Okay,
Yeah.
we're all
But they
saying
can take
it's a
DeJean
tough
out of the
number.
game. We've seen every team take DeJean out of the game by not going to him.
That's fine. That's fine. If we put
That's
them on their number one target, that's perfectly fine, and just let them beat us with somebody else. But here's the thing: we have seen this Iowa team be much worse and
That's so
pull
true.
out wins against Penn State.
They
You
did
know
beat
the boys.
Trace McSorley and Saquon.
This team has won the last two meetings, guys, with worse teams, right? The last 3 weeks, Iowa, the quarterback, we're looking good, we're feeling good. I mean, I'm probably the mark, but that's fine. Give me Iowa plus 14.5. Like,
I
like Iowa plus 14 as well.
I love my boys. I'm always going to support them, so I'm not going to bet against them, but I'm not going to bet on this game. I'm going to skip it.
I'm staying away as well. I can't touch it.
I mean,
however, the next game that we have, that Bama Mississippi game, that's looking really tasty and not in the favor of Bama, in my opinion.
Fuck Bama.
So, few little notes on this. There's some interesting storylines headed into this game. So, Ole Miss's DC is coming from Bama. He had been at Bama for like the past 5 years. Milrose starting at quarterback this week after not playing a single snap against South Florida last week in a game that Alabama barely sneaked out. They scored a last second.
They trailed at half. They trailed at half in that game.
They scored a last second touchdown to make the score look a little better, but Bama versus South Florida should have just been, a steamroller. And granted, that was kind of the slate last week as those big teams didn't get it done, but they looked bad. And Milroe didn't play a single snap. There's some speculation down here that maybe he was serving like an in-team suspension. Saban's come out with some bullshit being like, oh, he looked good as a leader on the sideline, not playing, and he was supporting his teammates, and that's why he's back in and starting this week. I don't think Milroe ever should have been taken out. Their offensive line doesn't look good. They just haven't looked like the Bama of old so far this year. And Ole Miss last year only lost by 6, and they were driving at the end of that game and had a turnover on down situation with under 30 seconds left. So, it's not like last year's team. Last year's team was so much better for Bama, and they still got played tough by Ole Miss. Granted, it's in Tuscaloosa, but we've already seen them lose there once this year. So I think it's going to be a tight one. I think it's going to be an interesting one, but you don't bet against the greats. So I'm going to take Bama minus the 7 here, and I would not be mad if I lost. If Alabama lost outright, I would be a happy camper. So, but it's like betting against Belichick. You just don't do it, or you try not to. So go ahead and give me Bama with the points this week.
I would say something that just kind of caught my eye. The last time that this line was this low was 2015 in Mississippi. It was a 9. And Ole Miss actually won that game. Just a little kind of fun fact, kind of little sprinkle. The line was 9. They won 43-37. Ever since then, it's been 10, 30, 22.5, 37.5, 24, 15, 10.5. Just kind of food for thought.
Like building off what Tyler said, he said you don't bet against the greats, and that's the only thing that's keeping me off Ole Miss plus 7 this week. Is I'm not dumb enough to bet against Saban. That being said, the Ole Miss plus 210 on the money line looks really enticing to me. But I do love the over of this game. The last 3 times the total for this matchup was in the 50s. The over hit by a wide margin in all 3 of them. Now, the last 3 times the total of this game was in the 50s was during Alabama's dynastic run in the 2010s. So they were doing a lot of the heavy lifting in those games. But last year, the total was 65.5. And so, I mean, obviously they went under last year, but they thought they had that kind of firepower this last year without Bryce Young. Maybe it scares you away from the over, but I'm taking the over.
Ethan, what do you think here, man?
I think I'm gonna ride with Mississippi on this one. I don't trust any of the Alabama quarterbacks. All three of we've seen in the game haven't shown me that they can do it. They don't look any better than was. I can't. I don't think I can bet on Bama, especially the cover, until I see something from that Alabama quarterback team. So I'm going to bet against them until they prove me wrong.
I'm gonna go
I'm
agree
right
with
there.
Ethan here.
Yeah, I'm there with him.
I don't know if I'm gonna take Ole Miss money line, but I definitely am a fan of them to cover. I think it's gonna be a close game. I would like to see an Ole Miss upset. I'm with you that Alabama does not look like the same Alabama, and they kind of showed against that Texas team. Now Texas is a really good team this year, but I think Ole Miss is coming. They got a lot of firepower. They got a big time offense, and I think Ole Miss has a good chance here.
One thing we're not talking about either is Bama's defense isn't the classic Bama defense where they have, 3 to 5 first 2-day guys in the NFL draft. Like, they're not as loaded as they typically are, and they don't look as good. I mean, they gave up 3 to USF, 7 to MTU. They gave up 34 to Texas, and again, Texas is a good team. I don't see we don't see the normal Alabama, which is kind of, I feel like, is what's putting us on a little bit of a hold on betting on this Alabama team, because we don't know what to expect. We've never seen them, dare I say, this bone.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think you guys betting on Ole Miss is completely respectable, especially with Jackson Dart. Like, he's looked good so far this season playing quarterback. So I wish I had the stones you three did to go with Ole Miss, but fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Kind of deal here. So I'm gonna go with Bama just to see if they can self-correct. But let's head into our next game here. 19 Colorado takes a trip over to number 10 Oregon up in Eugene. This game last week was a 14-point game after Colorado's abysmal performance against Colorado State. This line has gone up to 21. So if you were on Oregon, betting them last week would have been really, really good for you. A whole touchdown is a massive, massive shift. We got to remember with this one, there's no Travis Hunter playing. Thoughts and prayers out for him, getting a lacerated liver, but he's a dog. He's going to come back and be just fine. It was a dirty hit. I mean,
hey, shout out to CSU. They played a tough game. They showed up ready to play.
Dogs, bro. They played like dogs.
On the hit, I don't know how dirty it was. It was a late hit for sure, but it wasn't a helmet to helmet. It was a good football hit. It was just late.
No, it doesn't matter. That's a dirty hit because the ball was in front of him. He saw the ball and he still decided to lower his shoulder into his fucking gut.
15 years ago, we wouldn't have been talking about that hit. Let's just say that.
I agree with Parker, but I also see Cole's thing.
Yes.
I feel like the reason it was a dirty hit is it wasn't a player for Colorado. It wasn't a player for Colorado that doesn't see a lot of playing time. It felt kind of targeted at their stud. Losing Travis Hunter is huge on both sides of the ball. However, it's been big news. Like, that dude getting death threats and everything. Like, we got to remember as fans, like, that's not cool.
Stupid.
It's not.
He's
not right.
These are still 18 to 20-year-old kids playing this game.
Yeah. So, but getting into this game betting wise, Parker, I know week 1 when you weren't with us on the pod, you actually sniped Colorado money line in like the plus 700 range against TCU. What are you feeling on this game here going up in Eugene?
It's going to be a battle. I think we're going to see this is their first step to see what this Colorado team is made of. They're going to be facing probably a more well-rounded team this year with Bo Nix back there running the offense for Oregon. It's going to be a close game. 21 points, though, for a spread. That's crazy. I still would take Colorado to cover. I don't think they're going to get blown out. I think this is going to be a real good test to see what they're really made of. I like Colorado. I probably am going to take them as a single bet. I probably wouldn't throw them in any parlays or anything like that. But to be safe, I'll probably sprinkle plus. They're still plus 600, something like that, at some of the places I'm finding. So
Yeah.
they're
Got
probably,
plus 680 right now.
if you got some money to throw around like that, I mean, plus 600, why wouldn't you, if you have a few bucks, to sprinkle some money on it?
Worth a
Yeah,
sprinkle. I agree with you there. But yeah, what do you think, Josh?
I was a little bit of a mark. I was before the CSU game. I was like, oh, they're gonna come out. They're gonna destroy this CSU team. So I was anticipating a good move on the line for Colorado rather than a bad move. So I placed both this game and USC money line sprinkles 2 weeks ago, and they both look awful now because of how much the lines have moved. But I got them, so we're gonna hope they cash. But I'll probably double down on it this week and throw down Colorado plus 21. That's a lot of points for a high-power offense like Colorado. Yes, Travis isn't there, but Shiloh's still there. Shitter's still there. They got good units on both sides of the ball. They just need to. It's really going to come down to how many times they shoot themselves in the foot with personal foul calls, because they love doing that. I don't have the statistic, but I'd almost guarantee they have the most personal fouls in the FBS so far this year. Just guessing, because they get a lot of them.
Cole, what are you thinking with this game here, man?
See, last week was ugly because this Colorado team is one that when they have pressure, like a big rivalry with game day sitting there, they kind of folded. Personally, I think they kind of folded a little bit. It should have been a game they should have won by 10. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a game that they should have won by 10, but they ended up going a double overtime. I think once they start chirping, they get in their own heads. I mean, there was a lot of shit talking going on. I mean, they fought at midfield before the game. I think this Colorado team is legit. I've said it all year. I am riding with Colorado hard. I think Primetime is probably one of the better coaches college football is going to see in the upcoming future. I mean, Saban's had the time. They've all kind of had their time. I think Prime, if he's sticking with college, he's going to be good. I'm taking Colorado plus 21 easily. I think that's an easy catch.
All right, so you and Parker still sound like you're drinking the Kool-Aid, and it's hard not to but
I'm
it
turned
almost
off
seems
that
like
shit.
it almost seems like last week the lights shined a little too bright, but they still snuck out of there with a win, and for them, that's all they care about. It's wins and losses. For us, it's important, for betting wise, we're taking them on the spread and everything. But yeah, they still got the W. That's what they needed. However, there's something I gotta say, boys, and it doesn't look good. Statistically speaking, ranked underdogs that are 21 point or more dogs are only 5-13 against the spread. And that's statistically not good. Now, granted, we've never seen a team like Colorado before go from a one-win program to taking the nation by storm and being America's sweethearts. I personally don't think that Primetime is going to let the boys go out there and just get steamrolled like that. However, their defense has looked shaky. No Travis Hunter is going to be a rough one for them. And these Ducks, man, they rank second in the nation in scoring offense at 58 points per game. And on defense, they're only allowing 15.7 points and 158 passing yards a game. That 158 passing yards per game is 15th in the nation. So it's pretty big, but it's gonna be a big game for them. I think if they win this one or keep this one close, like it's gonna really put the nation on notice. But Josh, what are you thinking here, man?
So Tyler, you were just talking about Oregon's offense, and that kind of brings us to Colorado's defense. They have a defense that is ranked higher than 100. They're 105th in points allowed per game and 125th in yards allowed per game. Colorado doesn't play a lot of defense.
Yeah, I mean, last week they kind of got put on notice that hey, things can happen to them, and it's going to be exciting this week. But I don't know where they go from here. Maybe last week and them getting put on upset alert like shakes them, and they come out this game firing and figuring it out. I mean, Shadur still looks good. I'd still be happy if I was holding a Heisman ticket for him. But this defense, man, especially without Travis Hunter, is going to have to step up because Oregon is going to put up points, like I said.
Yes.
So that's going to be a crazy game.
With Oregon's offense and Colorado's defense, what do you guys think about this total? 70.5.
That's a large number.
It is a large
It's
number.
a lot of points. It's a lot of points. However, I think we know Colorado likes to air it out, and we know they don't like to play defense. So I think Colorado is still going to get theirs. But I think
on average,
these teams lay it on them.
On average, these teams combine for 99 points a game.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, it's a scary number to take, but I think I would lean towards the over here. So let's go around. Let's get official picks for everybody here. I unfortunately am going to put the Kool-Aid down this week, and I'm going to go with Oregon. And again, it's another one of those games where I would not be mad if I got proved wrong, just like the Bama game. So, yeah, I'm going to be with the Ducks, and I might be alone here. Cole, what you think?
You're going to put that shit down, and I'm going to pick it right the fuck back up. Colorado plus 21.5.
Cole, why don't you pass that cup over to me? I want Colorado plus 21.
I hope you guys save some of that Kool-Aid for me, because until they spill it on themselves, I'm going to drink every fucking drop given to me, baby. Colorado to the moon! Colorado for the natty, boys!
Ooh, okay, let's calm down a
Hot
little
take.
bit there.
They got to get through USC.
Ethan, where are you at with this, man?
Tough one. 21 points, touchdowns. Can Colorado's offense keep up? I think Colorado's
There's still
defense.
some Kool-Aid here for you.
Can Colorado's defense keep up? That's my question. And I don't mean keep up in the sense of like them and win. I don't care if they win. I care, are they going to cover? And I think that they're going to cover. Give me the Kool-Aid. I'm going for it. Colorado.
Good teams win. Great teams cover.
You know what might be a hot bet here? If you can find a book that has a prop for Oregon to score on every drive, that could be a hot little sprinkle of a couple dollars on like plus crazy odds.
Feather bet the over too.
10-7 game. 10-7
I
game.
mean,
I'm calling it
that
now.
would be a crazy, crazy bet there, Josh. I think Colorado's going to get a stop at some point. But let's take this into another interesting game in a very tough barn. 22 UCLA is heading in to number 11 Utah. Utah is 5.5 point favorites. And like we said at the beginning of the year, this team does not lose at home. However, they've kind of looked shaky without Cam Rising coming in at quarterback. He's still recovering from that ACL injury.
Nope,
Nate
Cam's
Johnson, is that official? Because as of earlier today, it isn't, and the line hasn't changed with it at all.
As a line movement, it's changed. The line was at 3 earlier this week. It's all the way up to 6. If that's not Cam Rising, I don't know what it is.
Well, until he's officially called in, I still think I'm going to ride here with Utah. Nate Johnson will be the starter if it's not Cam Rising. Cam Rising coming in, it could be, a little rusty, but I think that this stadium is going to get up for him if he is playing. They're 28-2 at home since 2018 now, and it's just I think they're on a 16 straight streak. So you're not going to catch me betting against this Utah team. They got us earlier in the year with that 7.5, but give me them 5.5 at home, and I'm really really feeling that. So where are you guys thinking on this one?
I haven't really seen any UCLA play. I know they had a great team last year. We know their quarterback's gone, so I'm not too sure. But I do like that Utah team. They're going to be rowdy like always. It's going to be a good game, just like all the other games this week. I kind of with you, Tyler. I kind of like the Utes still at home. Not going to bet against them until they give me a reason to not.
I like it. I mean, it's just such a tough barn. Josh, what are you thinking with this game?
Earlier in the week when I was kind of doing research for the show this week, I saw Utah at -4, and I really liked them at -4. At -6, it's a little scary. If Rising's going, you can give me the Utes -10 for all I care. I just don't know. I really, really just do not know. I might not make an official pick on this one, boys. It's kind of scary.
I am looking at Twitter right now, or just was at least, and everything I'm reading say Cam Rising expected to start on Saturday. So if he can stay healthy throughout the game, I think hell yeah, Utah -5.
Cole, what are you feeling here, pal?
I don't know. I don't really care for UCLA. I haven't really watched them play. I really don't know this team. I do know Cam. He is a dog. So I don't know. If I'm gonna make a pick on this game, it's gonna be weird because I really don't pay attention to either of these games. Am I gonna be brutally honest? I think I might take the first half over, which is 25.5. It's a
So
solid
you're
number.
feeling points.
I don't really care for this game, to be honest.
Cam has been practicing all week. And according to this tweet that I see from a Utah insider, I guess, he looked really good on Tuesday.
Well, just a little thing here, boys. Even if you're not feeling it with Cam Rising or potentially Nate Johnson coming in, this defense is 17th this year in the nation. So, granted, they haven't played any thriller teams or anything like that, but
they played a good Florida squad.
I mean, yeah, they've kind of turned it on. They weren't the team that they have been of late, but yeah, I don't know. I think that this could be one of those games that it's going to be tight, but I think the defense is going to carry them, and I think that I don't know, man. I really just think this crowd and them playing at home is such a crazy advantage. So go ahead and give me the Utes -5.5. Give me them on the money line. I think this is a great fit. So
yeah, just looking back over the stuff I have here, I was on the Utes earlier in the week. I'll stick with my pick earlier in the week. I will say though, I love the under in this game. Both of these teams' last 10 have been under games. Utah's 3-7 last 10. UCLA's 5-5 last 10 on their totals. Sounds like 2 under teams to me, with 2 like decent defenses going against each other. We got 2 top 10 scoring defenses going head to head here.
All right, so I think we should just head on over to our next one then, and we're going to stay up in that Pac-12, up in the Northwest there. And this is Oregon State going into Washington State. Another top 25 matchup. Washington State is 3-point dogs at home. Again, another crazy, crazy place to play. Oregon State this year has looked pretty good with DJ Uiagalelei transferring in from Clemson. They've looked good. Their running games look good. But this Wazoo team is just something else this year. This game is kind of a tough one to pick, if I'm being honest. Oregon State's got a top 25 defense so far this year, and they're matched up against Washington State's top 10 offense. So, I mean, it is going to be a battle here. I personally think Washington State's got the edge in the quarterback battle. Oregon State's got the edge in the running back game. So this one for me was really, really tough to make a pick on. But before I do, I want to hear from you guys. Anybody got anything on this game?
The only thing I got is we all watched Colorado State last week. This Washington State team's played that Colorado State team, and they put a whooping on them. And I think everyone kind of came away from that game thinking, okay, this Colorado State team's not awful. So, I think it's going to be Oregon State. I don't feel comfortable with the spread. I have Oregon State on the money line. I also like the under here.
You
Yeah, it's a
know,
tough
if
game.
you told me to watch some Pac-12 teams at the beginning of the year, I would have told you to go fuck yourself, because who wants to watch those games? But I mean, going through the season and all these stats talking about it, sounds like this game's going to actually be a really exciting and good game. I haven't watched both of these teams all year, so I'm kind of excited. So I don't really feel like I should make an official pick, but I kind of do like this Washington State team. They kind of been always kind of the underdog in that Pac-12 conference. So I think I'm going to take Washington State at +3.
Oh, what do you think here, man?
I really like Washington State against this Oregon State team. I know it's kind of brutal. Pac-12 isn't the most exciting thing to watch of all time, but like their coach said something earlier. There was like, it's Cougs versus everybody now, and I'm taking them on the money line. I think they're at home. I think this is a pretty solid, playing field. I'm taking them at +130.
I like that. That's a respectable pick, man. This one's super, super tough. Oregon State got the better of them last year. Granted, that was at the Beavers' home field, but I'm excited for this one. Ethan, what do you got here?
So this Washington State game and Oregon State game is a little bit of a weird one for me. I'm a homebody, so I'm always going to stick to watching my Midwest teams, the Big Ten teams in general. Like Parker said earlier, I don't necessarily care for Pac-12 football. However, I do have a little bit of a crush for Oregon State. I think, honestly, it's going to be a uniform pick.
Yes.
Similar to what Cole did last week.
Yes.
I love the Oregon State orange, white, and black. I think those colors run so
Sexy.
smooth together. Oh my God, I love them. So I'm going to go with Oregon State at -3.
Let's get official picks for everyone here.
So we got Cole and Parker. You guys are riding Washington State, right?
Correct.
+130.
Got
Alrighty.
me and E on Oregon State. So Tyler, break the tie.
Man,
Come to the dark side.
Wazoo's
Come to the dark side.
Wazoo's such a hard barn to play in.
Their defense is so bad, though.
Shut up.
Something about
They have like
these,
the 70th ranked defense in the nation.
Shut the
something
fuck
about
up.
these beavers that are gonna make me believe in them, man. I'm riding with Oregon State here. And earlier, you guys were giving me a lot of Pac-12 slander. I get it. They're breaking up. They're going elsewhere. There's 8 teams ranked out of this conference right now, guys, in the top 25. You've got to shine some light on this conference in their last year alive. There's good football going on out there. So give me Oregon State on the road. DJ is going to have to step up really big at quarterback here. So
hey, who doesn't love a little bit of beaver on a Saturday, boys? Am I right?
Amen.
We're virgins around here.
That's going to take us into the only not top 25 ranked game we got on the slate, and it's an interesting one. This is Big 12 matchup. It's the last time we're going to get to see it as a conference matchup. Hopefully, these two teams stick to playing each other once a year. It's a good game always. It's always a nice, fun little rivalry. And that's number 3 Texas heading into Baylor. Baylor's 14.5-point dogs at home. They played this Utah squad really, really tough earlier in the year. But you got Ewers and the boys coming in there for Texas. And I think it's going to be a banger, but I think I'm siding with Texas on this one. However, this Baylor team has caught me with the hook before, so I'm going to buy this down to 13.5 because I just do not want to lay that extra half a point with facing Baylor. So anybody got anything here?
The last
Texas
time
all
that
day
this
for
line, I said last time this line was 14, October 13th, 2018. Times were easier. COVID wasn't a thing. 23-17 Texas. I'm taking fucking horns down. Horns down plus 14.5 Baylor. Fuck them, hook them, whatever. I don't even know what Texas is.
A Longhorn.
This Baylor team finally got their first win last week against I don't know who this team is.
LIU.
LIU, yeah. I'm clicking on it and I'm clicking on them. It's supposed to hot link to the website and it's coming up as an error because it doesn't exist.
Same. So is mine.
But we've watched this Baylor team already lose to Texas State.
Fuck them.
They lost to Texas State. They're definitely
Fuck
not
'em.
beating Texas. And Texas State beat them by 9, which means Texas is easily getting them by 14.5. It's Texas all day.
Whatever. I'm riding alone.
Texas does look like a good team, but Texas does come out looking slow a lot. You seen it last week in their game
Hit me with it,
that they
Parker.
played. But, I slept on the Horns once. I don't think I'm going to sleep on them again.
Oh, he's
no.
breaking Cole's heart.
I'm
sorry, Cole.
No.
But my horns are up.
Horns
Hook 'em.
up, baby.
Hook them. We're going Texas.
It seems
Fuck
like
you all.
every time that one of these teams heads into Baylor, especially at Baylor, it's always a good game. And I don't think that is going to change. Now, I'm not saying Baylor's going to come away with a win here, but I think they're going to cover. I'm taking Baylor 14.5.
Yes, Ethan.
Baylor hasn't
you
covered
guys-
all year. Baylor hasn't
You
covered
guys
all
are
year.
the biggest marks. After I did some research, you guys said this school that Baylor played last week doesn't exist. These guys played Long Island University from Brookville, New York.
Who?
They are the Long Island University Sharks. And we're only able to put up 30 points on a team we've never heard of before. They're
Is that a
high
junior
school team.
college?
No, they are D1.
Bishop-
The
Oh, it's
lowest
Bishop
division.
Sycamore.
Bishop
It's
Sycamore.
Bishop Sycamore.
They might as well have been. I heard that LIU's got a great program. Bullshit. Ryan Kelly and the boys out there can fuck off. This team's only ever made one bowl game before. And just because you couldn't score more than 30 or cover the spread on Long Island University, there's no way you are hanging with Quinn and the boys. All right.
No
It's
shot,
horns
bro.
up. And I said I wasn't taking the half a point. Strike it from the record. Give me Texas minus 20.5.
Honestly, I was about to say
27 and a
that same
half.
shit.
Oh,
It is Texas to the moon this week against Baylor.
that's disgusting.
I don't care if it's a rivalry. You lost to Texas State. You hung only 30 on Long Island
They
University.
gave up 7
They
to
were too
Long
drunk,
Island.
bro.
They
were
gave
too
up
drunk.
7
It's
to Long Island University. How they hung with this Utah team baffles me.
If
Yeah.
you're at Long
Get-
Island University, you better be fucked up.
There's just nothing you can say here about this Baylor team. I don't even want to watch the game anymore because of this Long Island University news breaking. Give me Texas and get this game off of my screen. I just want to look down at
Fuck
ESPN
you.
app on Saturday and notice that it's
Fuck
48
Tyler-
to nothing.
Tyler didn't believe us when we said that it wasn't hot linking to a website, bro.
So let's
Sit
go
did
into
not
an
work.
actual good game now.
Let's go back
And
to
that
Baylor.
brings us to Ohio State coming in with the number 6 rating. They're headed into Notre Dame in South Bend, who is toting a number 9 ranking of their own. Notre Dame is catching 3 points at home. How do we feel on this one, Parker?
Shit, man. As much as I hate Notre Dame, I hope Ohio State wins by 45. But as much as I hate Ohio State, this is going to be a fun game to watch, I think. It's going to be a close game. I think this is going to be Ohio State's big first test. I think the same with Notre Dame. They were in a couple close games for a while, but I think we're going to see how both these teams are going to be set up for the rest of the year. I think I'm going to stick with the Big Ten just because I hate Notre Dame. So I kind of like Ohio State here.
-3, or are you taking them on the money line?
I think I'm going to take a -3.
All righty, Josh, what are you feeling here?
Yeah. I hate Notre Dame. And
Fuck
I have
you.
a brother-in-law that loves Notre Dame, and he annoys me to no fucking end. That being
We love that
said,
guy.
I am taking Notre Dame +3 this week. Also, both of these teams are over teams, so you can give me the over of 55.5.
Alrighty, Cole. Sounds like you've got some big energy on this game. How are you feeling here, pal?
This is, I don't know the stat. This is only Ohio State's quarterback. I don't even know his fucking name. Fuck him. I hate Ohio State. It don't matter. This is only his 3rd start. This is Sam Hartman's fucking 500th goddamn start because he's an old man. I'm riding Notre Dame until they prove me wrong. Give me the money line. I don't even care about the fucking spread. Give me the money line over. Sam Hartman's a dog. He's going to win the Heisman.
Ethan, what are you feeling here, man?
Break the
Honestly,
tie.
it's a tough one because I feel like Notre Dame, again, doesn't ever play well against a higher ranked opponent, and they're not in a conference, so everybody makes a big deal about that as well. Give me Ohio State -3 every day.
So I am strictly going off kind of what Cole said. Sam Hartman has 50 career starts after this Saturday. This will be number 50 for him. Kyle McCord is getting his 5th career start. Experience matters in these big games. It's going to be his first true road test against a dominant team. Estime is just leading the charge in that backfield, running like crazy. Sam Hartman's a dog. Give me Notre Dame +3. I think they could win this game outright at home. I think Sam Hartman has a really, really good chance here to catapult this team into the playoff talk and playoff rankings, maybe. And I definitely think if he goes out and plays this game like we know he can, seeing him at Wake and so far this year, I think if it comes down to it and he has to sling the pill around, he's going to. And I think he's going to catapult himself up into the Heisman rankings if he plays this game well. It's going to be really, really tough game all the way around. But Ohio State hasn't been impressive so far this year. Kyle McCord isn't this dominant Ohio State quarterback we're used to seeing. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Sam Hartman, go with the experience. He's played in big games. The lights have never been too bright for him. So I'm going to go with Sam Hartman here, +3. Might even sprinkle him on the money line a little bit. But
I like the money line a lot. I mean, a lot of people always say in these big games, tight spreads, you take the better quarterback. Hartman's far and away the better quarterback here. He's going to plant his Heisman flag in this game towards the end of the year. Everyone's going to be looking at this game saying, look at what he did to this Ohio State team, which I think at the end of the year is still going to be a good team. It's still going to be a respected team, and it's going to be a great banner game for his Heisman argument, for his Heisman trophy.
Not to be said, Ohio State is also 1-2 against the spread this year. So
They
take
are
it as you
not
will.
covering. They are not covering this year, and I think a big
No.
part of that is with Kyle McCord underperforming to the standard of an Ohio State quarterback. But so it sounds like we all are good on that. A couple games to look out for this week. The college slate is really really good, but check out North Carolina. They're taking a 7.5 point favorite into their game this week. South Carolina, after stepping up big against Georgia last week, they're 6.5 point favorites. Oklahoma, there's just good games all over the place. Do you guys have any picks like outside that we haven't really talked about that you just want to throw in real quick?
UNC -7.5 against Pitt. Washington -20.5 against Cal. USC -35 is interesting because Arizona State could be on their fourth string quarterback. I'm not saying to take that. I'm saying it could be interesting, but I would take UNC -7.5. I would take Washington -20.5.
If I'm not mistaken, UNC is 3-0 against the spread.
Correct.
You are mistaken.
Is it what 2-1?
It's 2-1. They didn't get cover against App State, but App State played
You're
a
right.
really good game that
Overtime.
week.
Overtime. Regardless, I think UNC is another team to fuck with that, Drake May, who is also going for his Heisman. I think it's wrong to bet against them. That's my team. That's always been my team.
Also,
UNC
Pitt doesn't cover. So you have a team that
No,
covers against a team
no.
that doesn't cover.
I mean, the line's 7.5. I'd buy it down to 6.5, maybe.
No, they can keep their hook. It sounds like we kind of, as a group, are starting to find the quarterbacks we like betting with this year, guys. It sounds like we like Hartman, we like Drake May, we like Colorado. We're finding these teams, and we always seem to go with them. What do you guys think on that? Do you think we're becoming a little biased just because we're hitting a few consistent picks with these teams, or do you think they're just good teams to ride with?
I'm not saying it's a bias. I think they are playing well, and there's no reason to bet against quarterbacks that are playing well.
I would
I'm with
agree
Cole.
with that.
I'm with Cole. Some of the MLB bets I've been making lately have been on your top MVP candidates because these sports books are leaving these wide open on total bases. You have the one I had last night was Mookie Betts for 2+ total bases at plus money. Like the guy is second. The guy is second in MVP voting right now, or going to be second probably for MVP voting for the NL. Like, there's no reason to not take that. So I think it's similar with these quarterbacks. You might as well take it if they're going to give it to you. And if they're going to keep giving us money for betting on these quarterbacks, then why not keep doing it?
Well, okay, so while we're talking about the quarterbacks, do we want to talk about the quarterback out there in the purple and silver out there in Washington? What do you guys think there?
Michael Penix Jr. What a dog, man. That Washington offense has just been putting up points left and right all year. But who do they got this week?
They got Cal. They're laying 20.5.
Exactly. They haven't, I mean, they faced a Michigan State team. You think Big Ten is a good defense school. Well, they threw up a lot of points there. I haven't really seen Washington yet face a tough opponent. I don't think Cal's going to be a tough opponent.
This is their widest spread of the year so far.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be another stat booster for Michael Penix and his running for his Heisman. So
they're also 2-0-1. They have not lost a spread yet this year.
Well, you know who Mr. Penix Jr. isn't following? He's not following Tavern Sports. And this episode of Show Me the Money is brought to you by Tavern Sports, your place to get fun sports content, sportsbook lines, and parlays, and of course, food reviews with Big E's Ballpark Bites. You can follow them. You can follow Tavern Sports on Instagram at Tavern Sports 2023. You can follow them on TikTok at tavern.sports and on Twitter at Tavern Sports 23. NFL talk. We're gonna. God damn it. We're gonna start with the Chicago fucking Bears again.
Oh my God! Fucking fire everybody.
Well, they don't have to if they just keep resigning like what happened yesterday. Bears defensive coordinator is now no longer with the team, probably for the best. We do wish him the best. The rumor right now is health issues. You hope that's
T's and P's. I think the resignation to us Bears fans it's not super surprising when you consider what happened last week with Flus taking over the defensive play calls. To me, that kind of looks like Coach Williams went and talked with Flus and talked with Poles and said, "Hey, I have this stuff going on. I'm really not sure what I want to do. So maybe it's best while I have all this medical stuff in my head and on my mind and I'm considering my future, maybe I shouldn't be calling the plays this week." So they handed it off to Flus, who's a defensive head coach. So if Alan Williams is dealing with a health issue, T's and P's to him and his family, and we hope he gets through it.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Hopefully all is well with him. However, that defensive issue that they're having is obviously showing in the line. The Bears are 12.5-point underdogs against the Chiefs, or at least that's what they were yesterday when I looked at the rundown.
It's still 12.5.
Okay. This opened up at 9.5. So this is clearly people are going with the Chiefs. I don't think that it's really a question. And the only issue I have with betting on the Chiefs in this one is, I don't know, Patrick Mahomes hasn't looked all that great the first 2 weeks, but can he, figure it out against the Bears? I think that's the easiest team you could possibly figure it out against.
I was going to say, I think the even bigger than Mahomes and that offense and the inability of the receivers to catch the ball is who are we going to have covering Kelsey? Because we brought in 2 really good linebackers, but they're not the greatest in pass coverage. Also, our O-line keeps taking hits. Braxton Jones, our second-year left tackle, who has had a rough start to the year, yes, but he looked very good last year as a 5th-round rookie pick, and he was starting to get it figured out. Now he's on the IR, out for at least the next 4 weeks. I don't know who they're going to put there. Are they going to put Larry Borum there? Are they going to slide right over to the left tackle out of his natural right tackle position to see what he looks like there, so we don't have to have Borum on Justin's blind side? Honestly,
that's a hard task.
It is. It's a really hard task. If someone told me they're buying this to Chiefs minus 20.5, I don't know how I would argue them doing that. I really don't. This Bear team has not shown us anything. They refuse to throw the ball in DJ Moore's direction. Justin's been hesitant to run the ball, and he made a statement about that earlier in the week. It kind of got blown out of proportions. He was asked. He stated that he feels like the offense is robotic. He was asked why, and he said something about the coaching, but it seems like the media took that out of context. He came back later in the day and clarified he's not unhappy with the coaching. It kind of sounds like he feels like he may be being overcoached a little bit, but he and the OC, they kind of gave a joking hug to the cameras at practice the next day, like showing, hey, this is all good. There's no issues here.
Well, there may not be an issue with their relationship, but there's an issue with this team. I mean, they were the number 1 overall pick last year for a reason. Let's not forget that. We got absolutely boat raced by Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield last week. And you know who I'm taking in a fight any day? Is going to be Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce over Baker and Mike Evans. So there is nothing you could make me do to bet this Bears team this week. It is going to be Chiefs. I actually personally like the Chiefs team total at over 30.5 right now.
I like that as well.
I don't see how this defense is going to stop them. And I think their defense obviously is championship caliber. They're the defending Super Bowl champs for a reason. Though they probably haven't played up to their standard all year, I think this is their get back game, and I think they're just going to right the ship against us. So I'm going with the Chiefs minus 12.5 all day, every day.
I also hate saying it with all my heart, but it is a Chiefs. It's a Chiefs win. It's a Chiefs cover. But the thing that's a little bit more important, just to me personally, is that this is. I've said it a few times, but I think this is the game that Justin stops playing with all the thoughts in his head. He aired it out to the media that it wasn't a coaching thing. I agree that I think he was being overcoached. I think they were trying to make him into something that he's not, and which is what we all wanted him to be. But I think once we kind of move away from what we want Justin to be versus who he is as a quarterback in this league, he's a rushing quarterback. I mean, he's a Lamar Jackson. So I think this is a game that he can air it out. I think he's going to audible a lot more than he has. I'd like to see him at the line change up plays and stop running these motherfucking screens. But I think, say, last week was embarrassing when you have the opposing team saying, yeah, we knew what fucking play they were going to run. They lined up the same way. They ran it 3 times in a row. You know, it's embarrassing. But
I think I'm going to go with you guys and take the Chiefs minus 12.5. I think we're going to have a hard time keeping Chandler Jones out of our backfield, and Justin's really going to have to rely on his legs to scramble and make plays happen. But I just don't see a way that the Bears can keep it close. I like the Chiefs minus 12.5.
All that being said, I think we can all agree the Bears are not going to win this football game. If the Bears win this football game, hell froze over. So let's take a step back. There are still positives that you can pull from a losing football game. The Bears can come out. They can be less in this all-in, Justin concreted to the ground in the pocket. You know, we can see them move back to the way they were playing games following that loss to Washington last year, where Justin is a lot more of a run-first guy. He gets out, and I think them using his legs will eventually lead to them using his arm more. If teams have to respect his legs, then they're going to have to lighten up the coverage a little bit, and Justin will find places to throw the ball.
I mean, it sounds like all of us are not on the Bears, as disappointing as it is, but it's just kind of the way it is when you're cheering for a winless team. They haven't won in damn near a year now. We covered that last week.
It'll be 11 months on Sunday.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
Quick apology. Chris Jones, not Chandler Jones. That's on me. My bad. Sorry.
We all knew what you were saying. It's fine.
So, I mean, I think we should head this over to the next NFL game on our slate, which is Broncos at Dolphins. The Dolphins are 6.5-point favorites right now at home. This game opened as 3.5-point favorites, but it's up to 6.5 now. What do you guys think here?
I think the Dolphins have been getting disrespected on their spreads all year.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue to make the sports books pay for it until they figure out that Tua's healthy. Tua's learned how to fall now. I don't see him taking a big concussion. And if he does, God forbid, then they can readjust the lines. But this team was blowing people out last year when Tua was healthy. I don't know why they don't think they're going to do it this year. The one problem I could see them having this week is Pat Surtain has been locking his side of the field down all year. It's been Revis Island 2.0 over there. So if they have him shadow Tyreek, I mean, Waddle's in concussion protocol, that could be a little bit of an issue for the Dolphins. But if Surtain's going to sit on one side of the field and they can just put Tyreek on the other side, that bodes well for them. So it really depends on how Surtain plays. I haven't watched any Bronco football. I don't know if he moves around. Does anybody know if he moves around?
I believe his typical game plan is sticking on one side of the field, but this week could be different. Sean Payton could scheme it up differently for Tyreek Hill, but yeah, I think
they do
the
have
Dolphins...
former Bear Kyle Fuller on the other side of him. So, and he wasn't bad in Chicago. He wasn't anything special, but
Yeah, I think I'm gonna ride with the Dolphins on this one. Parker, what are you feeling here?
Yeah, I mean, how do you guard Tyreek Hill? The only way is to shadow a safety and hope your corner stays on him long enough for you to get some safety help. I mean, if Surtain can lock down one side of the field, then they can kind of push Tyreek. Could be a close game, but we haven't seen a lot in this Broncos offense. Yes, they put up 30, but that was against the Commanders, who are also a mid-lower team, maybe a little bit better. But I don't. We haven't seen any promising looks from that Broncos team yet. I like the Dolphins still. I still think with a semi-unhealthy Dolphins team, with Waddle out, I think they won't have any trouble. I think Tua's just going to have to hit his checkdowns maybe a little more, go to the tight ends.
the tight ends have been overlooked in this Dolphins offense for the last couple of years. It's just not something that the head coach likes to go to. But again, why would you go to him when you got Tyreek and Waddle on opposite sides of the field? I mean, can you blame him?
No.
Yeah, I think that if Surtain isn't doing one-on-one coverage of Tyreek Hill, that this game's going to get away from him. Even if Tyreek's out of it, I think Miami's running game is really, really good. And this Broncos team hasn't been great so far this season. I mean, they're looking considerably better than they did last year, but it's just not the team that we thought would be here last year, even still now with Sean Payton. I just don't see how the Broncos hang in, especially going down to Miami. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. And I think those boys might struggle a little bit. Cole, where are you leaning here?
Yeah, I think this line is kind of low for what it is and who the Dolphins are. Denver hasn't looked great. Yeah, they put up a shit ton of points against the goddamn Commanders. Who gives a shit? I think this game you could honestly buy up to 10, maybe 10.5, just to kind of fucking sprinkle a little bit on it. I don't think Denver's gonna play with Miami really well. I think Tyreek's gonna have a hell of a game. You know, he's the number one. He's gonna be, what is he on pace for right now? Goddamn 10,000 fucking yards this season.
2165. I just looked it up. He had a bad
Yeah.
game last week. He only had like 50.
Yeah, but whatever. I mean, I'm taking
Ethan-
Miami.
Yeah,
Ethan,
I'm
what do you
kind-
think here, man?
I'm kind of with Cole. They say that the home field advantage gives you about a 3-point favorite. So you're adding 3 points to, or I guess you're subtracting 3 points from, what they usually would be. And I think the Dolphins would be a significantly better team than -3.5. I think they're a significantly better team than -6.5, especially at home. I see that line getting even higher. That's probably a good one to jump on while you can. Give me Dolphins -6.5.
I like it. Let's turn to a game that's happening up there in the Northeast this weekend with the Jets and the Patriots. Josh, you're saying the Jets are 2.5-point favorites against the Patriots still this week?
That's what I'm seeing right now. It's got to be the Zach Wilson effect.
That guy loves MILFs.
He does love Mills, but even if Zach Wilson is that bad for loving MILFs, I mean, this Jets backfield is really good. And they still have Garrett Wilson. I mean, that just 2.5 against the Pats. Who it's not the Tom Brady Pats anymore, man. It's not good. That seems like it's worth a little bit of a sprinkle to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm a mark. Maybe I didn't watch a lot of New York Jets football last week to realize just how bad they are.
I personally don't think the Jets are a good football team without Aaron Rodgers. It's crazy how fast this team seems to be imploding. Breece Hall was not happy with the amount of carries he got last week. Dalvin Cook wasn't happy with the utilization of the running game last week. And I mean, I get it. You were down, you got to throw the ball, but Zach Wilson's just not that guy. And
No,
they've
not at
got
all.
absolute horses in the stable of that running back room. So, I mean, I think they really need to use it. That being said, New England's got a really, really, really good rush defense. So I'm going to take Belichick here. Zach Wilson just hasn't shown it to me yet. And I think Belichick's going to cook something up for him that he's not used to seeing. He's going to put him under pressure, and he's going to make the Jets beat him with their legs. And they certainly could do that, but I'm going to go with Bill Belichick here.
I think I'm going to go with you, Ty, but it's going to be a hard time moving that ball for that New England offense. I think that Jets defense is still going to be tough. I think New England's going to have a hard time moving the ball, but I think you're right with that rush defense. If the Jets don't figure it out offensively, they're just going to implode the rest of the season. So I'm going to go with Belichick here. I like him. I think it's going to be a good game.
Just a couple more games to hit on quick before we get off of the NFL. Bengals -3, Eagles -5.5, Dallas -12.5 against Arizona, and Buffalo -6.5 against Washington all look like attackable spreads. Worth looking at. We're not going to make official picks on them because we're running a little long here, but
Ethan, it's good with you. I think we kind of hammer out our final picks now.
I'm all for it. Ty, go ahead and give us your teaser first. We want to hear your teaser, and then after your teaser, you're going to start us off with our lock of the week picks. So we're going to get all of Tyler all at once, which is just how I like it.
Here we go, baby. So not only is it Tyler's teaser this week, it is Tyler's top 25 teaser. All top 25 teams. It's going to be an 8.5 point teaser. It's a lot of points and it's a lot of legs, but we're getting it at plus 450 this week. We've missed the last 2 weeks. We got to get right here. Give me Florida State plus 8.5. Well, it's going to take them up to plus 6. We're going to get Oklahoma involved, Bama involved, Washington State involved, Texas, and UNC. Again, 8.5 points with that teaser, plus 450. And for my lock of the week is one of those teams in there, and it's going to be Oklahoma. I'm teasing them down, but I like them straight up anyway. Oklahoma this season is outscoring its opponents 167-28, and they're 3-0 against the spread. So give me General Booty and the boys to go in this week and win it by 14.5. So give me Oklahoma State as my pick of the week. And quick correction, just from looking at the sports book, they're down to 13.5. I don't have to buy them down. Even better, give me Oklahoma minus 13.5. Parker, where are we going with your lock of the week, baby?
My lock of the week, I like that Seminole offense here. So my lock is going to be Florida State minus 2.5 against Clemson and Dabo Swinney.
All right. What about Cole down there?
I don't know yet. Come back to me.
E, what do you got?
It's a great question. I've been going back and forth on a couple of different ones. And I think I'm going to finally – I think I'll put my foot down on one of them. And that's going to be Mississippi. I think Ole Miss is just – I don't think that they are necessarily a better school than Bama, but I don't think that Bama is ready to be a top 10 team again, and that's where that would put them if they won this week. So – or at least if they covered this week. So give me Ole Miss minus 7.
Plus 7.
Plus 7. Ole Miss plus 7.
So we've got Ole Miss plus 7. We got Florida State minus the 2.5. I've got Oklahoma minus 13.5. Josh, where are you taking us this week?
Boys, we're going to the service academies. We're taking the number 1 defense in the entire country No,
Oh boy!
I did not read that
Why-
stat wrong. The
why-
best defense in the country is at a service academy. It's in Colorado. It's Air Force, baby. They have the number one rushing attack in the nation. They're rushing for 320 yards a game. They're going up against San Jose State, who has the 80th rush defense, or sorry, the 107th rush defense in the nation. They are allowing 170.3, and you might say, wait, Josh, they're only giving up 170 compared to Air Force's rushing for 320. Shouldn't that be a good game? No, wrong. They played Utah. Air Force played Utah State last week. Going into that game, Utah State's defense was giving up 94.5 rushing yards a game. They rushed for 344 yards on that Utah State defense. Utah State's defense now gives up 177.7 yards per game. Somebody do the math on that. What's that? 84 points, correct?
That's a killer rushing attack.
84 yards. They raised their average by 84 yards. Give me this Air Force team. Earlier in the week, it was 3. It's all the way up to 5.5. I'll take them at 10. I don't care. Air Force on the spread, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5. No matter where this line moves, take it.
Cole, it's up to you, baby. Round us out for the week.
That's disgusting because, I'm going to bring this to the Mid-American Conference. Give me NIU over Tulsa, 3.5. Fuck it.
What?
This program,
I'd also take UNC minus 7.5. But
Which
go
one's your
with
lock?
NIU.
Which one's your
NIU.
lock?
Northern Illinois, baby.
Jesus.
What the fuck? What
This
is
program
the spot coming
has had a
to?
long-standing reputation of being decent. The picks have been decent. We came off of a rough last week, and this man said, "You know what? Rocky Lombardi and the boys up there in the Chicago suburbs, listening to G-Eazy in the locker room, get Tulsa coming in, and you know what? We might be 1-2 against the spread. We might be 1-2 overall, but you know what? We need them. Cole, goddamn you! But
What a fucking pick.
You know what?
pick.
Tulsa's 0-2-1 against the spread. It's a good bet. They're 0-1 away. NIU is also 0-1 at home.
God damn it!
Give me them at minus 3.5.
You're
Fuck
sticking
it.
with it too. I love it, man.
I'm sticking with it. I'm a
love it.
man of my word. Let's go,
Oh,
Huskies.
Jesus.
My dad's a Husky alum. My mom's a Husky alum. Fuck them.
So rounding out the pick of the week, we've got Cole leading us into an absolute fucking shootout with Northern Illinois. Kicking off the parlay, we got Josh on the Friday Night Lights giving us Air Force. We got Parker taking Florida State in Death Valley. He wants to see Dat Boy Dabo run down the hill and tear a hammy. I'm taking Oklahoma and General Booty. And Ethan, you've got what for us to round it out?
I took Old Miss +7, so I'm the only one that took an underdog, but
Turmoil in Tuscaloosa.
Yep.
That's a hot set of picks, boys, and I can't wait for that to cash so we can look at the sports books and tell them to show me the money.
Show me the money, baby. Let's see it this weekend.
Baby, my money.